For decades, Jon Stewart has brushed off calls for him to run for office. But as the political climate grows darker, his rejections sound a little less certain.
So who's voting for me? Come on, guys. Who's with me?
Hi everyone, JJ here. Welcome back. Well, how serious could this be? Yes, that was a bit of a joke from Jon Stewart, but a lot of people do want him to run for office. As John from the Damage Report said there, he has rejected that. But could he be getting more serious given the really serious situation that's going on in the US? I mean, how many people could there be that could be as popular and as politically active, as politically switched on to actually do this? It seems that there needs to be somebody that is in the minds of Americans, is popular. I mean, look at Trump. Look at how he got elected. No political experience, was an outsider, was popular because of TV. Jon Stewart is as well. And you might have noticed this in the background here. This is actually an X profile, Jon Stewart for President 2028. Now, this is not by him. It says they're working to get Jon Stewart to run for president, so it's not affiliated with him here. And there's also a website associated with that. And this quote here from Mehdi Hassan, who we'll hear from in a second, the truth is that the modern Democratic Party lacks charismatic communicators who can make people both laugh and cry. It lacks household names, larger-than-life characters, people who can cut through the noise in a way that Trump so relentlessly does. It lacks leaders who can express moral outrage on behalf of ordinary Americans. Jon Stewart is all of the above. So what do you think of that? Do you think that is true? I must say he is my favorite comedian and political commentator. What he says on The Daily Show and on his weekly podcast is always spot on, and he really gets to the heart of the matter. He is popular, and if you think about who else there could be, I mean, there's AOC, right? But is she too divisive? Is she too young yet? But is Jon Stewart too old? I looked it up. He's 62, which is not 72 or 82, like a lot of people in government are in the US. That's one of the criticisms. Yes, he's an old white guy, but at this political moment, could he be the right person at the right time? Let's have a look at
What's
this.
wrong in rural America? Come up with plans that will address that, and you will improve your chances in those areas. Not, what if we all curse more like regular people? Like, that's what's them up. And by the way, I was on the vanguard of that cursing thing. I just want to point that out. So who's voting for me? Come on, guys. Who's with me?
I'm interested. You had said a couple of concerning things. I think that you're better than some of the names being thrown out there, I guess I would say.
Okay, so why is it needed? So this here is Steve Bannon. Can you believe this, what he's saying here? Is it a time where Jon Stewart would actually step forward if democracy is going down the drain like it has been? I think this is the reason that he would actually step in if he were to do it, if he saw that nobody else could. And there are candidates out there, possible candidates. Obviously, Gavin Newsom is trying to go for that. Sort of mainstream Democratic, maybe seen as corporate. Yeah, a lot of people don't like him. I think Jon Stewart is actually more popular. And so this is what Steve Bannon says. Maybe this is why it's so urgent. It's pretty unbelievable here, talking about a third term for Trump.
Well, he's going to get a third term. So Trump 28, Trump is going to be president in 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is, but there's a plan, and President Trump will be the president in 28. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States. We have to finish what we started. And the way we finish it through Trump. Trump is a vehicle. I know this will drive you guys crazy, but he's a vehicle of divine providence. He's an instrument. He's very imperfect. He's not churchy, not particularly religious, but he's an instrument of divine will. And you can tell this of how he's pulled this off. We need him for at least one more term. right? And he'll get that in 28.
Can you believe that, what he's saying there? It starts off as a joke, right? And then they get serious. That's how it seems to work with Trump and his supporters. Starts off trolling, then becomes more serious, and then it actually happens. So this is the Constitution going down the drain if this happens. And so would Jon Stewart step in at this time? Let's hear a bit more from him, what he's saying, and we'll hear something more serious that he actually says about democracy and how he feels about democracy. So that's why he could actually step in, possibly.
That idea of fetishizing the little guy and we the people, when in fact the opposite has occurred and the Supreme Court has empowered really this kind of much more authoritative processing of all those avenues. And in some respects, then it comes down to, is the answer the Democratic Party's ripe for a takeover? And they just need to find the right reality host that can get in there and start lining up all of those interests.
Please, no reality host, I beg of you.
Jeff Probst, maybe Jeff Probst, Survivor.
Unless John, you're thinking of throwing your hat in the ring, which I know many people want you to throw your hat in the ring. If that's what you're suggesting, we can talk about that. But
Jon Stewart has seen firsthand how disgusting and corrupt politics is in Washington, D.C., having been instrumental in shaming politicians and assigning the 9/11 Victim Compensation Fund.
The breathing problem started almost immediately, and they were told they weren't sick, they were crazy.
Okay, so he has been involved in politics. As you know, if you watch his program over the many years, he's very politically astute. He's helped in different situations, like the one we just saw on the video, which I'll link to there for the damage report. They play that whole clip if you haven't seen that already. It was very effective. So he could get into it, but does he want to? I mean, I'm sure he doesn't want to. He would have done so already, surely. Maybe he was at a time when he wants to be stepping back a bit. He's not fully, on board with the Daily Show. He does it, part-time really these days, it seems. And so whether he wanted to jump into politics at that age, but if democracy seems to be going down the toilet, authoritarianism rising, which is what Jon has been saying, if you've been listening to him since Trump got into power and before that, he's been warning of this and it's actually happening. But do you think that he'll actually step into the ring? So this is at the Mark Twain Prize when he was talking about democracy, how he feels about it, and what is it important. And it does sound like he could run for office saying these types of things.
Comedy doesn't change the world, but it's a bellwether. We're the banana peel in the coal mine. When a society is under threat, comedians are the ones who get sent away first. It's just a reminder to people that democracy is under threat. Authoritarians are the threat to comedy, to art, to music, to thought, to poetry, to progress, to all those things. It's never been all that is a red herring. It ain't the pronoun police, it's the secret police. It always has been, and it always will be. And this man's decapitated visage is a reminder to all of us that what we have is fragile and precious. And the way to guard against it isn't to change how audiences think. It's to change how leaders lead.
Okay, he's sounding pretty presidential there, isn't he? What do you think? Would you like him to do that? What he's saying there about it's always the secret police, not the pronoun police. And we're all seeing that, right? If you've seen my videos, you've been seeing what ICE is. It is a secret police. We can see Trump's secret police. No matter what the propaganda says about this, we can see it happening, right? We're seeing masked men dragging away people into unmarked cars, without any warrants, without any due process. That is what's happening. So would this make Jon Stewart get in if he could see that no other person might be able to do it? Maybe the upcoming mayor of New York might be able to, but 2028 is not far away. Could he do this? Would you like him to do this? Let me know what you think about this. And right now I'm going to put a related video on screen if you want to go and see that now. And also join as a member, paid member if you want to. You get early access to videos and priority reply to comments. And I'll put a subscribe link on screen too. If you're not even subscribed yet, do subscribe to get more of these kinds of videos from me in the very near future. By the way, we are on Spotify too. Has video over there. Do subscribe over there too if you want to. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.